This is an irreverent, intimate, and honest look behind the curtain of modern political image making, including her own. That's how a Politico profile described Liz Smith's new book, Any Given Tuesday, A Political Love Story. Smith has worked for Obama, Buttigieg, Corzine, among others. She also dated Eliot Spitzer, New York's former governor who became part of that prostitution bust, and she worked for another New York governor, Andrew Cuomo, before that inappropriate behavior took him down.
I think back to when I was an 18-year-old girl and looking to get involved in Democratic politics. And there was no guidebook for people like me. You know, the only sort of guidebook I had was the famous political documentary, The War Room. And it's a great watch for anyone who's never seen it. But it was a very male movie. The only woman you saw in the war room was Jennifer Flowers. So I wanted to write a book that really shared what it's like behind the scenes of politics and what it's like to be a woman behind the scenes of politics and sort of the good, the bad, the ugly, and the stuff that all of us have to deal with. And there's no question that politics does take a toll on your personal life, but my personal life also informs how I approach politics. You know, having been through the scrutiny of the tabloids, the New York tabloids, which are very, very tough on people, informed how I deal with crises, how I advise candidates. And it was important for me to show the reader who I am as a person and the things that shaped me. And if you are a young woman who's looking to get into politics, some of the things that you'll have to deal with.
You talked in there about '04 backing John Edwards. You know, later on you worked for Andrew Cuomo. In both cases, these guys totally let you down about the type of person you had hoped that he would be, right? So
Yeah.
how does that impact you?
So with John Edwards, it's a slightly different situation. I was 20 when I started a student group for him at Dartmouth College in New Hampshire, you know, another early state. And, you know, I was not in the room with him. Let's be real. I met him, I met his wife, but I was at the absolute bottom of the totem pole. But what it tells me between the two of them is that politics can let you down. And these people that you trust, these people that you look up to, these people that you think are the bee's knees, can let you down. And in the case of Andrew Cuomo, you know, he's someone I loved, I trusted, I viewed as a mentor and a father figure. And I went to help him during, you know, when he was dealing with the sexual harassment crisis. And I did it because I believed in him and I believed all of his denials on things. And what it taught me was the importance of loyalty, which is not blind loyalty, which is what I showed in that case, but earned loyalty. And loyalty has to be a two-way street. And he did not show that loyalty to the people around him. And what I want people to take away from it is that loyalty, yes, is a virtue, but you can't let it blind you to people's faults. And when you see a red flag, when you have a feeling in your gut that someone is not being truthful with you, maybe listen to it.
But if you go to a person, that person is dishonest with you, you work for the candidate or the campaign, and then you are that public voice, that then reflects on you and damages your credibility, right?
Of course, of course. And that's what I write about in my book is that he asked so many people around him to put themselves on the line for him, to put their reputations on the line for him. And the collateral damage of his resignation, he's not the only person who paid a price. I mean, his brother lost his job. Other advisors lost their jobs. I'm lucky. My reputation wasn't dented that much. But it does go to show you that these people can let you down and that you should listen to your gut when you feel that, you know, these people aren't being truthful with you. And I didn't want this book to just be about all the great things in politics, because there are so many beautiful things about politics. I wanted it to also show sort of the underbelly of politics and how these guys that you really believe in can let you down, can let people around them down, and that the people who go out and fight for these people are people as well. You know, it's not just about the politician, it is about their advisors. And the disappointing thing to me about Andrew Cuomo was all the people who had their reputations sort of tainted, who lost their jobs. And the fact that I don't even think he lost any sleep over it.
Up next, whether that vote in Kansas this past week about the right to abortion signals anything ahead for Iowa Democrats.